Bro, Colombia is balling right now.
They are, but are they a World Cup contender? Can they actually win the whole thing? I mean, they couldn't win Copa America. They looked like the best team. They were my favorites to win the whole thing, but Argentina has a little man named Lionel Messi.
Yeah, and Lautaro Martinez is also playing out of his skin right now. Ballon d'Or candidate. They've got some real ballers in Argentina, but that doesn't mean that doesn't make them, qualified to win the World Cup, right? Like candidates for the World Cup.
Correct. Yeah, without a doubt. Colombia, look, they missed the last World Cup, if I'm not mistaken, right? And
they've been on a tear ever since.
Yeah, exactly. So
they've lost 2 matches since February 1st of 2022.
So look, they clearly their eyes are bloodshot, filled with revenge, and they
That was a bloodshot just from playing Bolivia at 14,000 feet.
Colombia is a team, and look, I always say this, I'm like Colombian during World Cups, right? Because I grew up with a lot of Colombians, and so I have a huge affinity for the country and their national team. But there's something I think, not even just on the world stage, just against CONMEBOL, I think there is a little brother syndrome kind of a thing that it's just Argentina. They're in second place in World Cup qualifying, but them being better right now than even Brazil is, I think, there's a big shift. There's a big change in how I think the football is run right now in Colombia.
Yeah, I think the strength of Colombia and being in second place in World Cup qualifying in CONMEBOL is insanity. You know how difficult that is? Like, people in Europe and people maybe in North America probably don't understand how difficult this is. Realistically, we're talking about 10 countries that used to fight for 4 spots. And within those countries is Argentina and Brazil and Uruguay. So really, it's like, all right, one of you other ones get in here. You know what I mean? And we're talking about Chile, which had they're in last place right now, but they had a golden era when they had Vargas, Alexis Sanchez, Medel. They had some real superstars. They were winning Copa Americas. There's a real difficulty in qualifying out of CONMEBOL, but right now you get 6 spots in, 7th goes to playoff, but they're in second place, so they would have even qualified under the former format.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you got to say, if you're one of the top 2 or 3 coming out of CONMEBOL, you are, for me, a standard bearer within world football.
Sure.
You're one of the big names that we should be considering.
They look spectacular. I think the concern I have, and especially after watching them in Copa America, I just think Argentina has a little bit of
they got the championship mentality.
They have they have the championship mentality. They have the desire to win for Messi. They have that like focus, right? We see how passionate they are about that, but then they also have a little bit of just like the extra housery that you need to just be
the dark arts, a little bit of seasoning, a little bit of spice,
the yo no sé qué, right?
Yo no hice nada, probably more like
that. Argentina, I think right now, and we know that they're this is going to be Messi's final World Cup, and we know it's like, can they just get over that little hump of just we do the dirty work necessary to thrive at a World Cup?
Are they going to do Messi? Like, that's not there for James Rodríguez.
Exactly. And then
the vibe ain't like, we got to get James Rodríguez this World Cup.
Is some people call James Colombia's best player, which I could see. He might
be the best player in the region right now, form-wise.
It's just form-wise, and then but I'm also still concerned. It's just like, he is not the most agile. He's not the most quick. And it's
he's also not the most consistent. Seems like when he gets the love is when he's like, peace out.
He definitely feels like he thrives for the national team more than right now he's at Rayo Vallecano.
Yeah, he just signed for them.
So there is a little bit of like I just worry a little bit. And when we ask the question, can they win the whole thing? That's when I'm like, I don't know if they have that thing that you need, that little bit of obsession, that little bit of insanity, the little, we watched Argentina. We were at the game at MetLife to see Argentina against Chile, and you saw how those players, especially a player like Rodrigo de Paul, who is a psychopath, chasing a ball down, making sure, putting in tackles. And I'm not saying that Colombia doesn't have that at all, but do they have it to that degree where you can win a World Cup? And that's where I think they just lack just a little bit to call themselves a true contender.
But I would say they're within the top 2 coming out of this entire hemisphere.
Without a doubt. So credit to them and Colombia. I wish nothing but the best. I hope they do well in the next World Cup. But man, could they win the whole thing? In my opinion, I don't think they can.